Hi, I'm Steve. I want to thank all of you for coming and celebrating the wonderful life of my father, that my father has given all of us memories throughout the years. I want to say special thanks to my cousins, Lynn, Nancy, Susie, and her husband Jim, for coming and helping my mom when she needed the help from Thousand Oaks to get to Ventura. So thank you so much for helping out. And my sister Stephanie. The things that she has done for my parents is absolutely incredible. The caretaking that she's done for my dad for the last 2 years, the paperwork, the homes, the medicine, unbelievable what she's gone through for the last 2 years to try to make my dad's life as comfortable as possible. Plus taking care of my mom. And to Cindy, making sure that my dad always had a family member over there. It was absolutely fantastic. So thank you, Stephanie, so much, and thank you, Cindy, for being there for Dad. Being out here in South Dakota, it's made me feel a lot better that I do have my sisters taking care of my dad. So thank you so much. I want to thank Nikki. Nikki's out there preparing the food at the park we're going to be going to. So thank you, Nikki. She came from New Mexico to help out. So thank you so much. We're going to celebrate my dad's life today and all the memories that he's given us. I have so many memories that I could speak for the next 4 days, and you still wouldn't get all the things that my father and I and our family have done together. So thank you very much for attending. My son has put on a special video of some snapshots that I've collected over the years. I've been in South Dakota for 20 years now, and I remember that every time my dad would pick me up, because I would go visit my mom and my dad, you know, once to twice, 2 times a year, and every time at the airport, my dad would have his ice chest with cold Mountain Dew in it, and because he knows how much I love Mountain Dew. I don't know why, that's just a big memory of mine. You know, that cold Mountain Dew in an ice chest. My dad had it there. That's what my dad thought. My dad was cool, man. He was cool. Sometimes I talk like a hick. I might say some pretty weird stuff, but that's from living in South Dakota too young. Too long. Yahoo! My son, he can't stand it. He's cracking up behind the old camera. The old... So thank you so much for showing up. And I hope you enjoy this video that my son has put together for all of us to watch. Please enjoy.
It's a beautiful morning.
Sunshine caresses each new waking hour. Seems to me that people keep seeing more and more each day. Gotta say, lead the way. It's okay. Gotta say, it's okay. All right.
story back on Green Meadows. I did something really bad. I don't remember what I did, but I think I did something to my sister Stephanie, or I cursed at my mom. But I did something really bad, and it really made my mom mad. My mom says, "Wait till your father gets home because you're going to get a spanking." And I was scared. I was scared that when my dad got home, I was going to get the belt or something like that. So what I did is, waiting for him in my room, because I had to stay in my room, I put 3 pairs of underwear on. I put 3 pairs of pants on. I put a book inside my pants, padded it all up so when I got my spanking that I wouldn't feel it. And my dad came home from work and found out what I did, and I'm in the bedroom just scared. I know I'm going to get it. But I had all that padding down there. And my dad says, "Okay, you ready?" And I says, "Yeah, I'm ready, Dad." He turns me over to give me a couple swats, and he noticed, of course, a big old bulge in my rear end and the padding and the magazine and everything, and he started to giggle. And he looked at me and he goes, "Son, make it sound good. Don't tell your mom." Sorry, Mom. "Don't tell your mom, but make it sound good." So he was pretending that he was giving me a couple swats, and I'd go, "Ow! Ow! Ow!" There's my dad watching over me again. Another thing I remember about my dad was when I was about 13 years old. Him and my mom, when we lived over on Green Meadows, him and my mom went to a football game at South High School, which is on the other side of the overpass. Well, I was a little mischievous back in those days, Zion High, and they left. Well, they had a Cadillac. I had a friend named Randy Uden. He was kind of like the troublemaker in the area. Well, he talked me and Zion to taking my dad's Cadillac and cruising around town when we were 13 years old. So as soon as they went to the football game, we took the keys, took the Cadillac, and we went cruising around. And I knew exactly when they would be back. Well, sure enough, they came back from the football game early. Us 3 boys were cruising down the street back to the house in the Cadillac, our heads barely over the steering wheel. And who's standing out in the front yard with his arms crossed? It was my dad. Oh my God. I pulled up, put it in park. He looked at Randy Uden and says, "Randy, go home. Zion Steve, in the house." I got a lot of trouble for that one.
Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there ain't no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. Take me for a trip upon your magic swirling ship. All my senses have been stripped, and my hands can't feel to grip, and my toes too numb to step. Wait only for my boot heels to be wandering. I'm ready to go anywhere. I'm ready for to fade onto my own parade. Cast your dancing spell my way. I promise to go under it. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there ain't no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning, I'll come
back with some more stories. My dad, I remember when Tammy got her first ear piercing. We were in Big Bear, you guys remember this. We were in Big Bear, California, and my dad dropped Tammy, Mark, and I off by the waterway, by the dam someplace, and we were fishing. Mark takes his fishing pole, and he goes back like that, and he goes, "Nee!" Well, he hooked Tammy right in the ear. The hook went through the air. So not only did he catch a fish, he caught the tammer fish. He's trying, his pole's bending. He thinks he's stuck on a rock behind him, and his tammer's ear all pulled out, screaming. And so we cut the string off, but the hook is still in her ear like she got a piercing. I remember my dad showed up, and he couldn't believe what happened. And so my dad had to do a little bit of surgery. He cut the hook and he got out of her ear. But I remembered my dad came to the rescue again. When we had the old Borum boat, that was the name of the boat, it was a Borum boat. He would take us out there in front of Rat Beach, out there in Redondo Beach. And I remember one time he took us out there, took all of his kids out there, all of us. And we were fishing there right in front of Rat Beach in the boat. And you know, the waves going up and down and stuff, and we were all pretty young. I was used to it because that was one thing that I did do. I did fish a lot down at the harbor and on the pier and stuff. I remember my dad used to take me down there at 4 o'clock in the morning and drop me off, and then come back and pick me up at the end of the day after Zai and I, because Zai was with me a lot. We caught all these fish, and we'd make money selling the fish. So anyway, we're in that harbor, and the boat's rocking back and forth, and we're fishing with anchovies. Well, anchovies stink terribly bad. It's just like the worst smelling fish there is an anchovy. So just by the anchovy smell, rocking back and forth, all of a sudden, there goes Mark. Mark's blowing chunks into the water. And I remember Cindy and Tammy were getting mad. You know, my dad was getting mad, and Mark's blowing chunks over the boat. Hey, I said to Mark, hey, we don't need no more chumming, bro. We got enough bait out there. Well, before he knew it, Cindy's chumming, Tamara's chumming, just ralphing right over the side of the boat. We could attract every shark from here to Hawaii. There was so much chum in the water from them. And I remember that, and there was so much, the anchovy stunk so bad, we'd always catch my dad. He'd be smelling his fingers. My mom would say to him on the boat, Russ, what do you keep smelling your fingers for? Well, there was something about that anchovy smell. He would smell his fingers. You remember that, Mom? About him smelling his fingers and anchovy. That's what made everybody sick.
It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. I'm not one of those who can easily hide. I don't have much money, but boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. If I was a sculptor, but then again, no, or a man who makes potions in a traveling show. I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for you. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in the words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. I sat on the roof and kicked out the moss. Well, a few
of the verses, well, they've got me quite cross. But the sun's been quite kind while I wrote this song. It's for people like you that keep it turned on. So excuse me for getting, but these things I do, you see, I've forgotten if they're green or they're blue. Anyway, the thing is, what I really mean, yours are the sweetest eyes I've ever seen. And you can tell everybody this is the song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind what I put down in the words. How wonderful life is while you're...
My dad was making a spaghetti dinner, you know, so when my dad cooked, he didn't cook out of a jar or a box. He actually made things from scratch, so he was a gourmet chef, and you know, that's who he was. He just loved to cook. He was making a spaghetti dinner, and Nikki was there. My mom and I were eating on TV trays, watching TV. My dad makes sure all of us have our food on our plates, and we're all ready to go with our garlic bread and everything. So all of a sudden, he fills his plate up last. He comes through the kitchen and into the eating area where we're watching TV. The corner of his TV tray with his big spaghetti dinner hit the corner of the wall. Spaghetti dinner went all over their expensive rug. All of course, we're gonna laugh. You know, it was funny. So then, you know, it takes him 20 minutes to clean up the spaghetti off the rug. You know, spaghetti will stain. So it takes him 20 minutes to clean this up. He finally gets it cleaned up, you know, and we're just about done eating. And he goes back in the kitchen and he gets a brand new plate on a brand new TV tray. He's walking out. Finally, after about 20 minutes of cleaning up, he walks back out and he does the exact same thing. The corner of the TV tray hit the wall. The plate went over again. Nikki, my mom and I were just amazed. We couldn't believe what we just saw. My dad, he cursed, picked his plate up off the ground, threw it in the sink, and said, "I'm done." That's my dad. I remember one of my dad's favorite sayings. I use it to my son Russ a lot. And Stephen, you've heard this many times. Brandon, you've heard me say this many times. This is from my father. And all my brother and my sisters, my mom. You know this. When I get up, everybody gets up. My dad was a very kind and gentle man. He touched many lives. His sense of humor was out of this world. Everybody that met him just loved him. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell you a joke that my father told me when I was 16 years old. It's the only joke I really remember because it was his favorite joke. We laughed about it for years afterwards regarding this joke. This salesman selling flatware in a small town in the Midwest was getting hungry, spending the whole day, you know, hitting farm to farm, so he needed to get something to drink, like cold beer and a sandwich, so he hits the closest town. He goes into the closest town, and he's cruising down the main street, and he notices this cafe bar. So he said, okay, you know, it looks like a good place, I'll go in there and, you know, have a beer and a sandwich. He goes in the cafe bar, and he walks in, and he notices a donkey in the corner of the bar. He's going, why is there a donkey in the bar? He walks over to the bartender and goes, hey bartender, why is there a donkey in the bar? Bartender says, well, you put your buck in the pot down there, and if you can make that donkey move in any way, you win all the money in the pot. And the salesman goes, So while he's eating his sandwich and drinking his nice cold beer, he notices guys over there throwing their buck in the pot and poking them and tickling them, trying to do anything they can to make this donkey move. So he's sitting there and he finishes his sandwich, takes his last swig of his beer, goes outside, comes back in with 2 bricks. He walks up to the donkey, looks at the donkey in the face, goes behind the donkey, lifts up the donkey's tail, takes the 2 bricks, smashes them right on his gonads. That donkey, hee-haw, hee-haw, 6 feet up in the air. Even broke the brick. Won all the money in the pot. 2 years later, he's back in that same small town. Decides to stop and have something to drink and something to eat. Goes back in the same bar. This is 2 years later. That donkey is in the same bar, in the same corner. And he goes up to the bartender and he goes, "What's the deal with the donkey now?" Bartender says to him, "Well, if you can make that donkey move his head up and down, then sideways, you win all the money in that chest." And it was a huge chest full of money. He thinks for a minute, finishes his sandwich, takes the last swig of his beer again, walks over to the donkey, looks the donkey straight in the eyes, says to the donkey, "Do you remember me?" Donkey says, Says, "Do you want me to do what I did last time?" Donkey goes, "Hambo." That hambo was for you, Steven. Hambo. My dad was extremely kind, and just the things he did for us kids was incredible. I couldn't have wished or wanted a better dad, because that was the best dad that anybody could ever have. Thanks, Dad.
The son rarely tells his father how he really feels. A handshake or a pat on the back is all that he reveals. I'd like to right that wrong here in this little song. Thank you for shaping my life. Thank you for teaching me all you can. You are no ordinary man. No, no, no. You make me everything I am. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for showing me the way. And thank you for being there when I need you. Thank you for every single day. Now I've been blessed with a son of my own. Got my own bedtime stories to tell. If I can raise him half as well as you raised me, guess I'll be doing pretty well. Thank you for your guiding hand. Thank you for making my dreams come true. You're an extraordinary man, and I hope you're as proud of me as I am proud of you. Thank you for giving me life. Thank you for showing